Welcome to the Microsoft 365 Business Technical Fundamentals series. In this video, we will be discussing Windows 10 management approaches with Microsoft 365 Business. With support for Hybrid AD joining Windows 10 devices, existing domain joined devices can continue to be managed by group policy, but you can also start leveraging cloud-based management capabilities that are provided with Microsoft 365 Business. Provided as part of Microsoft 365 Business, Intune is a unified endpoint management solution that can help you manage your Windows, Android, iOS, and macOS devices from the cloud. For new company-owned devices, or devices that are mostly connected to the Internet and not to the business network, management via Intune should be an option that is considered. For personal Windows devices that need access to business data, you can leverage Windows information protection capabilities through the Managing Personal Devices policy. When managing personal devices, you don't want to control apps or data outside of your company's requirements. The capabilities included with the personal device policy focus on protecting data within the apps listed. As you can see, these are Office 365 apps as well as some of the apps that are built into Windows 10. You can control file encryption, data transfer, and configure locations that should be treated as safe locations for business data. Because this policy is leveraging Intune, you can create more advanced versions of these policies if you identify additional requirements that the Microsoft 365 Business Admin Center doesn't expose, and this will be covered in more detail in the Advanced Windows 10 Management video. It's important to note that because we are only managing data at the app and identity level, we don't have control over the device to perform tasks such as remote wipes or resets, and we can only remove company data. When the business owns the device, you usually want to have more granular control over the device, and that's what the device configuration capabilities provide. Settings include Defender controls, the ability to enable BitLocker, as well as keeping the device up to date, amongst others. When managing the device, you have the ability to remotely wipe a device if needed by performing a factory reset. Once again, because this is powered by Intune, more options are available through the Intune Blade in the Azure portal, and this will also be covered in the Advanced Windows 10 Management video. Let's switch to the Microsoft 365 Business Admin Center and take a look at some of the different Windows 10 policies that are available. Here in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, you can see that we've got both the device policies and device actions tiles available. If we take a quick look at the device actions tile, what you can see here is the ability to go through and perform some of the tasks we were just talking about when it's time to start removing information from either corporate owned or personal devices. So we've got the ability to remove company data when we're just managing the data, or the factory reset when we're managing the entire device. If we move over to the left, you'll see here that I've got device policies. If we take a look at the device policies listing here, then what you can see here is that the one that was created in the iOS and Android management policy descriptions is in here. But if we go through and we add a new policy, in this case we'll choose the Windows 10 policy, and we'll just give it a name of Windows 10 default policy. You can see here that we can either do Windows 10 device configuration, so this is mobile device management, or MDM, and the one above it is application management, which is where we start leveraging Windows information protection capabilities. Let's start off with Windows 10 device configuration so you can get an idea of some of the things we can do at the device level very simply. So if we take a look at the settings that are available here, you can see here that it's got the ability to start controlling certain settings for Windows Defender, for example. So making sure that it's enabled, that updates are being received, making sure that we can set up some additional protection around, ensuring that certain sites will be protected through Edge. We can go through, we can start enforcing additional rules here. As we start hovering over these, you can see here that we can go through and start ensuring that additional security policies are applied to help prevent against malware and ransomware type attacks. You can also see here with the next setting that, again, this is going through and using the Defender settings where we can go through and start implementing controlled folder access. And what this does is start allowing us to control folders on devices that shouldn't be changed by a process that's not known or not approved to make changes in that area. So if you think about the way a lot of ransomware attacks take place, looking at things like the My Documents folder or other locations like that, this gives us an ability to block those quite easily. As we keep going through, you can see that, again, most of these are focused on security capabilities, protecting the device by encrypting. If we want to start locking down the settings on the system so that if we don't want them accessing the Microsoft Store because we're really pushing out the apps that they need, if we want to be able to go through and start either allowing or blocking access to Cortana, if we want to block advertisements or hints and tips in the app. So you can see here that there are a variety of settings that we can go through and configure from here. And we can choose who we want it to apply to. So in this case, I'll just say, just apply it to all users, because if anyone's got a corporate enrolled device, these are the default settings that I want them to have. So next up, what we need to do is take a look at some of the policy options that we've got for application management on Windows 10. So I'll just call this one Windows 10 Application Management. So some of the things that you'll notice immediately, first of all, is it a personal device or a company-owned device? So we may not want full management capabilities of the device. For some reason, we may just choose that we want it to be, that rather than going down the MDM path, we may just want to stick to application management. But in most cases, when we're working with application management for Windows 10, more than likely we're going to be looking at this as something that we work with personal devices. And as we start taking a look, we obviously don't want users to copy data to personal files. What about the recovery options? Well, if we take a look, do we want to be able to go through and start encrypting information and then start allowing simplified recovery? So we could upload a disaster recovery agent certificate. Do we want to start protecting additional network and cloud locations? So what we can do here when we enable these, you can see here that what it does by default, it actually puts in the name of our tenant. So this is our SharePoint site. So it's saying, well, this is actually ending up as a location that we know is trusted. So we can actually treat that a little bit differently. Now, if there are other domains that we need to add, we can put those in here as well. And then we can see the list of apps that are supported by default here. So again, as I mentioned in the presentation component, these are primarily Office 365 related apps. So we've got the Office desktop apps. So in this case, this would be Office 365 Business, as well as the mobile apps for those people who are using tablet devices and prefer to use much more touch-friendly apps. Then these mobile apps are going to be useful for that. Now, the final ones that I'll just highlight are some of the apps that are included with Windows. So, things like OneNote, the Mail and Calendar app, Edge, and Internet Explorer. So these can also be protected. So we can just go through, make sure everything's set the way that I want, and I'll just click on Add. Oops, I'll turn that one off. And I'll just save it as is. So that just gives you a very quick look at some of the things we can do. And for more advanced capabilities, we will be revisiting those in the Windows 10 Advanced Management section. The different management options for Windows 10 provide choices that allow corporate data to be protected regardless of whether it's a personal or corporate-owned device. These can be used alongside your existing Active Directory-based group policy settings or used standalone in environments with no dependency on existing on-premises infrastructure.